This is because he will be leaving China at the end of the month and heading towards the dojo of Limits World Headquarters. So during this period of time, Luo Feng stayed at home with his parents and brother. Even though his father Luo Honghua, mother Gong Xan Lan, and brother Luo Hua didn't want to leave, they didn't want to affect Luo Feng's great future. On the day of March 12th, Luo Feng and the members of the Firehammer squad gathered together. First, they sold the monster materials they hunted before. Since this was the last time the Firehammer squad would sell monster materials, Luo Feng suggested that the 5 of them split the money. The total amount of monster materials sold this time was around 800 million. Logically speaking, Luo Feng contributed the most, so he should get the most, around 300 million. However, everyone was clear that once Luo Feng leaves the Firehammer squad, the older Qinggu, Wei Tai, and Wei Qing will also retire, so the Firehammer squad will naturally disband. Luo Feng has been in a normal fighter squad for half a year, while Gao Feng, Qinggu, and the others have been in the fighter squad for even longer. Everyone's feelings were complicated. Luo Feng suggested that the 5 of them split the money equally, and Gao Feng immediately agreed. Since Luo Feng and Gao Feng took the majority of the money, since they both agreed, Qinggu, Wei Tai, and Wei Qing didn't argue anymore. Each of them received around 170 million. After that, the Firehammer squad drank until 3 to 4 p.m. Only on the second morning did the group of people take the train and return to their homes. And so, the Firehammer squad officially disbanded. Qinggu, Wei Tai, and Wei Qing retired. Luo Feng will head towards the world headquarters, and Gao Feng will join another fighter squad to continue fighting. March 21st, the sun shined brightly and the weather was great. Jiangnan headquarters city, the university sector of the main sector. This university sector took up a huge amount of space, and all 8 universities in Jiangnan headquarters city were gathered here. In front of one of the universities, the shining words Jiangnan Second Military Academy were on top of the main gate. It was extremely eye-catching. At this time, quite a few male and female students walked out of the school gate. Some were hooking up with each other, while others were just a few male or female students. Only one youth, who was wearing a simple dark blue t-shirt, leaned on the railing of the bridge in front of the school gate and watched the students come and go. "Hey Luo Feng!" A loud yell resounded from afar. Only then did Luo Feng turn his head towards the source of the sound. From afar, he saw a skinny and weak-looking youth running towards him. He seemed like a gentleman. It was his good brother, Wei Wen, who grew up with him. When Luo Feng smiled as he ran over, "I was waiting for you at the school gate, why did you come out here?" "I finished my cultural class this morning, so I went back to the dormitory. Our dormitory area is quite far from the campus," Wei Wen explained. "Oh, separate campus and dormitory? You've really opened my eyes for someone who's never been to university," laughed Luo Feng weirdly. "Damn it, you're a martial artist, yet you're teasing me." Wei Wen laughed and couldn't help but to hit Luo Feng's chest. "It's just the start of spring and it's still cold. Aren't you afraid of the cold wearing this shirt?" "Hee. No wonder you're a fighter." Compared to Luo Feng, Wei Wen's clothes were clearly thicker and warmer. Luo Feng looked around. "Let's go, let's find a place to sit." "Haha, it's rare to meet such a fat sheep. This time I'm going to rip him off. I want to go to that 100 Leaves house," said Wei Wen. "Alright, that 100 Leaves house, lead the way," laughed Luo Feng. Usually in the wilderness, when he interacts with fighters in the resupplying base, he's always a bit on guard. But when he interacts with Wei Wen, Luo Feng feels like he's back in middle school and high school. He's very relaxed. 100 Leaves house, a medium-sized restaurant. A meal for 2 to 3 people costs around $300 to $400. However, for a student without a source of income, this is already a very extravagant expense. However, for a fighter, this is very, very normal. "Sir, how many?" the waitress passionately greeted. 2. Luo Feng looked around. "Let's find a quiet place." The waitress greets people every day and has seen who knows how many people. With one glance, she felt that Luo Feng was different from the other students. Just that sharp gaze alone was enough to make her heart palpitate. She naturally lowered her head and said, "There's a private room upstairs, please follow me." Tiske, I've never been to a private room before. I've only been here with my girlfriend a few times, and it was in the lobby on the first floor." Wei Wen and Luo Feng walked up the stairs together. "Girlfriend? I didn't hear you talk about it during the new year. It hasn't been that long, right?" asked Luo Feng. The two of them entered an elegant compartment upstairs and quickly ordered some dishes and a case of beer. After putting down the menu, Wei Wen smiled and said, "My relationship with my girlfriend wasn't completely settled during Chinese New Year. It was only after Chinese New Year when school started that we decided on it." "Congratulations." Luo Feng couldn't help but to clench his fist as he laughed. "You haven't even been in military school for a year and you already got a girlfriend, amazing." "I'm just lucky. My girlfriend is from the normal university next door." Wei Wen opened the cap of the beer bottle. "You also know that there are a lot of guys in our military academy and a frighteningly small number of girls. There's a huge male-female ratio." "So, you found someone from another school?" Luo Feng couldn't help but to laugh. "Come, let's drink first." Wei Wen held the beer bottle. Luo Feng also held a beer bottle, clinked it and drank 2 mouthfuls. Luo Feng, dating a girlfriend isn't an easy thing. Wei Wen couldn't help but to raise his head and drink quite a bit of beer. His skin turned red as he shook his head and sighed. Nowadays people just compare themselves to each other. When it comes to finding a girlfriend, they'll compare themselves to whoever's prettier. And that's just a small thing. The most important thing is the atmosphere. Atmosphere? LuoFeng was a bit confused. For example, if I go out to eat with my girlfriend, if I don't find a nice place to eat. My girlfriend has a good temper, so she won't say anything. But those female classmates of hers will be gossiping. Wei Wen shook his head. You don't know, but those girls play tricks on each other. They're even more ridiculous than us guys. Her boyfriend is some rich kid. Her boyfriend is an elite member of the dojo. How is her boyfriend? They all compete. For my girlfriend's sake, I have to bring her to a nice place when I go out to eat with her. Wei Wen shook his head helplessly. LuoFeng froze. Without going to university, LuoFeng really didn't understand these things. However, in high school, there were already some signs of girls comparing themselves to each other. You know that eating out costs a lot of money. And I also occasionally buy gifts for my girlfriend. In just 1 month I've already spent around 4,000 inch. Wei Wen raised his head and drank the entire beer bottle in one gulp. His glasses were a bit red. Sometimes my girlfriend even pays for me. LuoFeng slightly frowned. My girlfriend and I are both from normal families and live in low-rent housing. How much money can we have? That's why I'm tutoring now. Sadly, I'm not an elite member of the dojo yet, so tutoring doesn't make much money. Wei Wen shook his head. I've finally seen through it. Life is all about pride. LuoFeng sighed to himself. Wei Wen's family's financial situation was even better than his own family's. When he was in middle school and high school, he always lent money to LuoFeng. In just this 1 month, I've finally seen through it. Everything can be summed up in one word: status. In this society, people step on people. Look at those with money and family conditions. They always have a few followers in university, and even girls throw themselves at them. And those who are strong and are already fighters are also respected by others. And those with big backgrounds have quite a few students willing to follow them, hoping that they'll help them out in the future. Money, power, strength. Rich people have status. Those with a background hold power and status. Martial artists naturally have their own status. Wei Wen opened another bottle of beer. So, this world is very simple. People will naturally respect those with high status and look down on those with low status. LuoFeng couldn't help but to nod. After all these years, LuoFeng always felt that Wei Wen was very smart. His words were simple and vulgar, but they clearly explained this society. When rich people lose their money, they're done for. If a person with power doesn't have that position, he might lose his power. Power and money are given by the outside. One's own strength is the most practical. So, in conclusion, the most practical thing is still strength. Look at martial artists. Even if they are crippled, they still have enough martial strength and can still be a dojo teacher. Wei Wen smiled. This relationship also made me even more determined. I must become a fighter. This year, I might become an elite dojo student. I hope to become an official fighter before I graduate. Wei Wen raised his bottle. Come, cheers. Seeing that Wei Wen wasn't discouraged at all, LuoFeng couldn't help but to relax. Come, cheers. LuoFeng raised his bottle. The two brothers chatted as they drank. After eating and drinking, they ordered a pot of tea and sat there chatting. Only until around 4 p.m. did LuoFeng send Wei Wen to the dorms. Outside the dorms. Follow this road and pass 2 traffic lights. You will see Jiangnan University's campus, Wei Wen said as he pointed at the road. Okay. Saying so, LuoFeng took out his phone. Call Xu Xin, mocked Wei Wen. Suddenly, Wei Wen felt his phone vibrate and couldn't help but to take it out as he mumbled to himself. My girlfriend is probably looking for me to eat dinner. I'll have to spend money again. He opened his phone and looked carefully. It was a message. Your card ending with 0306211651, Bank of Communications, received $6 million balance. $6,002,100. Bank of Communications. 6 million? Wei Wen's eyes widened. To him, this is an astronomical number. Who transferred the money to me? Wei Wen almost instantly thought of one person. LuoFeng, who was beside him. Out of all his friends and relatives, only LuoFeng could take out this much money without batting an eyelid. LuoFeng, this is you. Wei Wen raised his head and looked at LuoFeng. LuoFeng put his hand on Wei Wen's shoulder. Since you want to become a fighter, then work hard. Don't waste your time being a tutor to earn some money. Take this money as my congratulations for your first official relationship. I'll see what your girlfriend's female classmates dare to say in the future. Men have to stand up straight in front of women. Wei Wen's eyes couldn't help but to slightly redden. F***ck, no way, are you going to cry? LuoFeng opened his eyes wide as if he saw something strange. What the hell are you crying for, you bastard? Wei Wen couldn't help but to laugh. This amount of money isn't much to LuoFeng. A random medium-level warlord-level monster is worth over 10 million. Alright, I'm going to Jiangnan University. LuoFeng waved his hand and walked towards Jiangnan University along the street. Wei Wen looked at the message on his phone. That astonishing number of 6 million made him feel like he was in a dream. Just a while ago he was smiling on the outside because he was spending money with his girlfriend. However, he was worried on the inside. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye he would receive a huge sum of money? P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. If you want to ruin a couple's relationship, especially with someone like Xu Xin who lives in a big family, you can't be too obvious. Or else Xu Xin will get suspicious. So when Uncle In arranged for people to do this, he didn't plan on ruining LuoFeng and Xu Xin's relationship in one go. He planned on doing it a few times. The first time he made Xu Xin suspicious and then slowly. And he succeeded. This scene seemed like a simple mistake, but it already made Xu Xin suspicious. Wrong person? Definitely not the wrong person. This girl just stared at Luo Feng carefully before confirming his identity. Why is she immediately apologizing now? That's too fake. Xu Xin saw through it with one glance. Luo Feng's face wasn't too good either. How did he encounter such a mess? Sorry, really sorry, I mistook you for someone else, apologized the charming girl. Sister, let's go. What can Luo Feng say? She already said she mistook him for someone else. Ladies, please wait a moment, Xu Xin said. Luo Feng froze and looked towards Xu Xin. Xu Xin just raised her head and looked at the two girls. Oh, what's up? The two girls turned their heads towards Xu Xin. The sister asked. You guys said you met him 2 days in a row, said Xu Xin. I didn't meet your boyfriend, said the woman. It's my male friend Big Mountain. Xu Xin nodded. Mountain? Oh, you said 2 days in a row, so you also met that mountain yesterday? The sister and sister exchanged glances. The sister glanced at Luo Feng and then smiled towards Xu Xin. Of course, we didn't just meet, we even spent the night together yesterday. My mountain is amazing, I wonder how your boyfriend is like in that aspect. As she said that, she even laughed a bit lewdly. Spent the night? Oh, then you probably mistook me for someone else. My boyfriend and I video chatted until late at night, a full 3 to 4 hours. There's no way he would spend the night with someone else, smiled Xu Xin. Suddenly the two girls' faces changed. Oh no, the plan went wrong. The plan never expected Xu Xin to video chat with Luo Feng for so long. The two girls looked at each other with a bit of panic in their eyes. The plan just started and the first step already failed. Then the second and third steps won't even have the chance to start. The two girls said a few words to Xu Xin and then immediately left. After the two beauties left, Luo Feng laughed and looked at Xu Xin in shock. Xu Xin, we video chatted for around an hour yesterday, why did you say 3 to 4 hours? Let's see their reaction. Just bluffing them a little and their expressions all changed. Xu Xin smiled. If I'm not wrong, these two women should be arranged by my brother or one of the other young masters. But this time their methods have improved. Indeed, the two beauties' act of mistaking someone else for someone else had caused Xu Xin to be slightly suspicious. But there was a loophole. However, Xu Xin did indeed video chat with Luo Feng yesterday for around an hour. This made Xu Xin suspect. Could it be that Luo Feng went out to have fun after chatting late at night? It wasn't realistic, so Xu Xin asked a few more questions and exaggerated by saying that it would take 3 to 4 hours. The two beauties immediately felt that they had been seen through and left in a panic. Amazing, amazing, Luo Feng gave a thumbs up. These family matters are messy. I've let you see a joke. Xu Xin apologized. Luo Feng suddenly laughed. You just said. My boyfriend and I video chatted yesterday. Oh. Boyfriend? Hehe, Luo Feng laughed weirdly. Luo Feng, I couldn't tell, but you're pretty bad. That's what I said just now. Xu Xin couldn't help but to blush. When they left the restaurant, it was already past 8 p.m. and the sky was already dark. Luo Feng walked Xu Xin along the streets of the university city until they arrived at the Jiangnan University dorms. After the destruction of the two girls, Luo Feng and Xu Xin's relationship took another step forward. The two of them occasionally teased each other, but they just couldn't confirm their relationship. The night was dark and filled with stars. No need to send me off, I'm going in. Xu Xin looked at Luo Feng. Good luck in the elite training camp. Okay, Luo Feng nodded. Xu Xin's face was slightly red as she stood at the entrance of the dorm building staircase. Who knows if it was because of the red wine or something else? I actually lost my cool because of what that girl said at the beginning. Why was I so angry? Was it because of him? Could it be that I really? As Luo Feng was walking in the dorms, there seemed to be quite a few people under the shade of a tree in front of him. Luo Feng, someone spoke in front of him. Luo Feng looked carefully. There were a total of 6 people under the shade of the tree. The leader was a good-looking, fair-skinned rich young master. Behind him stood an old man and 4 strong-looking men. These 4 people were probably fighters based on their auras. Able to hire 4 powerful fighters as bodyguards? This person isn't a normal person. I'm Luo Feng and you are? Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the rich kid. My name is Wang Xing Ping from Kyoto City. The rich kid walked over. I came to see you because I have one piece of advice. You better leave Xu Xin. What if I don't leave? Luo Feng looked at the rich kid. Oh. Wang Xing Ping raised his eyebrows. I know who you are, the young master of Kyoto City's Wang family. Kyoto City's Wang family is one of the 9 core families of the HR Alliance. Luo Feng looked at him. Wang Xing Ping grinned. Very well, I think you should be a person who knows the rules very well. There are rules everywhere in the world. What you need to do is to act according to the rules. If you violate the rules and do something you shouldn't do, you will be punished. If you break the rules and do something you shouldn't do, then the consequences are not something you can handle. Do you understand what I mean? 8 or 9 p.m. is the time when the dorms are the busiest. Quite a few university students who were eating snacks or walking around noticed Luo Feng and Wang Xing Ping's group when they passed by. Since Wang Xing Ping's underlings are obviously not normal people. Rules? Luo Feng squinted. The Wang family is the only family in China that made it into the 9 core families of the HR Alliance. Their influence in the regular human world is terrifying. This family's methods aren't something a normal person can imagine. Luo Feng, you should know that people in this world are different. Even though they say everyone is equal, But in the end, people are not equal. Some people can only follow the law and all sorts of rules. Even then, trouble will still fall from the sky. Some people can find a bunch of beautiful women, break the law, beat people, and even kill people, and nothing will happen. And some people can destroy a family with one sentence. One sentence can give a young man a bright future. Even fighters have to listen to their orders. Wang Xing Ping looked at Luo Feng. You should know what kind of person I am. And what kind of person are you? These words didn't hide the arrogance in his bones at all. Luo Feng didn't say anything. As Luo Feng and Wang Xing Ping were talking, a man and a woman were walking hand in hand not far from the dorms. Tao, I'm really sorry. I'm probably going to be abroad for 3 whole years this time. Of course, I'll come visit you during the new year. The one speaking was Ya Xia, who was about to head to the dojo of Limits World Headquarters with Luo Feng. And the person holding Ya Xia's hand was his girlfriend from high school. Ya Xia, don't worry, we can see each other often through the internet. It's just 3 years, it'll be over quickly. The girl called Tao held Ya Xia's hand. Ya Xia is definitely a famous person in Jiangnan University. He's handsome and has a good temper. Both the guys and girls he knows treat him well. His family is good and his father is a war god. He's also very strong and he's about to go to the dojo of Limits Foundational Training Camp. Maybe in the future he'll become a war god. Plus, his father is already a powerful war god. Who knows how many girls are chasing after such a young man. Tao was able to get together with Ya Xia because of a lot of people trying to sabotage their relationship. However, you can't be a playboy. Tao looked at Ya Xia. Okay, Ya Xia slightly nodded. Okay, what's going on in front? Ya Xia looked in front of him with confusion. With his genius vision he could clearly see a few people in the distance. That's Senior Luo Feng? Why is Senior Luo Feng here? Tao, didn't I tell you last time that there's an extremely powerful fighter coming with me to another country? He's right in front, said Ya Xia. Where is he? Tao was curious. Let's go, I'll bring you to see him, smiled Ya Xia. Senior Luo Feng has a good temper. Under the tree. Wang Xing Ping glanced at Luo Feng. You're a beginner-level warlord fighter, right? These guys are 100% loyal to our Wang family. Tell this Luo Feng your battle score. Intermediate-level warlord-level. 3 bulky men said in a low voice. When it came to the last bald middle-aged man, he slightly smiled. Advanced-level warlord-level. Young man, I advise you to be more tactful. Even a war god wouldn't dare to be this cocky in front of the 9 core families of the HR Alliance. You have a bright future ahead of you, don't ruin it. LuoFeng's eyes flashed and he smiled as he nodded. Young Master Wang, you're amazing. 4 bodyguards, 1 advanced-level warlord, and 3 intermediate-level warlords. Back then, young Master Li Wei had 2 advanced-level warlords and 1 intermediate-level warlord. However, Li Wei died. Brother Wang, you're here too, a familiar voice rang. Luo Feng turned his head. Wang Xing Ping and the others also turned their heads. It was Ya Xia and his girlfriend Tao. It's young Master Ya Xia, whispered the housekeeper, Uncle In. The 4 bodyguards also let out a smile towards Ya Xia. Wang Xing Ping smiled as he looked at Ya Xia. Ya Xia's father is a famous war god in Jiangnan headquarter city. And because of his good temper and wide connections, many of the war gods are his life and death brothers. Even the Wang family has to be polite towards a war god with such wide connections. What's more, this Ya Xia has great talent and is about to enter the basics training camp. In the future he might even become a war god. Ya Xia, what a coincidence, you're here too. Wang Xing Ping no longer had the attitude he had towards Luo Feng. Instead he seemed more approachable. Haha, I saw that Senior Luo Feng was here before. I didn't think that Brother Wang would be here too. Ya Xia smiled as he looked towards Luo Feng. Senior Luo Feng, you know Brother Wang too? Senior Luo Feng? Wang Xing Ping frowned. Usually only when you're in the same dojo and know that you're not as good as the other person, will you call him senior. Ya Xia called Luo Feng senior? Ya Xia, I just met this Wang Xing Ping so I'm not too familiar with him, smiled Luo Feng. Ya Xia laughed and said to Wang Xing Ping, Brother Wang, don't you like to meet geniuses? This Senior Luo Feng of mine is much more powerful than me. This time, Senior Luo Feng will be coming with me to another country. And Senior Luo Feng is going to enter the world's #1 elite training camp. Elite training camp? Wang Xing Ping's heart shook. Even the national army has to fight for a spot in the elite training camp. Every person who enters the elite training camp will become a war god in the future. And the special training in the elite training camp will make these war gods much more powerful than normal war gods who train hard on their own. Every student in the elite training camp has an extremely high status. Even the 9 core families of the HR Alliance have to rope them in. Because these students will become very powerful in the future. Plus, their fellow students in the training camp are all geniuses of the world. After graduation, all of them will become war gods. With their own strength and connections. Every student will become a high-level member of the dojo of limits or a high-level member of a country's special department. Or a high-level member specially invited by the HR Alliance. An absolute existence of the highest level. Even a country's government treats these people like they're the masters. Indeed, they are the masters. Because these geniuses are also very smart, so they naturally form groups. A single genius is ridiculously powerful. When dozens or hundreds of them form groups, when one side is in trouble, the others will come to their aid. No core family of the HR Alliance wants to offend such an invisible force. This is also the reason why the families of the megacorporation spend tens of billions and hundreds of billions to find people to enter the world's #1 training camp. And these students? They might even become Hong's disciple or Thunder God's disciple. Damn, he actually entered. Wang Xing Ping wanted to punch himself in the head a few times. He's just a normal little fighter, how did he? Senior LuoFeng, Brother Wang is a very nice person, and he likes to make friends. Ya Xia smiled towards LuoFeng. Ya Xia smiled towards LuoFeng, then turned his head towards Wang Xing Ping. Brother Wang, in a bit, me Senior LuoFeng and you, let's find a place to talk? As he said that, Ya Xia intentionally winked at Wang Xing Ping. From Ya Xia's perspective, he's doing Wang Xing Ping a huge favor. How many of these top-level geniuses are there in the entire world? How can you get to know them so easily? 3 chapters completed. Brothers, don't hide your monthly votes and recommendation votes. Those with monthly votes, please support Tomato. As for recommendation votes, everyone has one, right? Throw them all at me. The night breeze of early spring was very cold, but Wang Xingping's brain felt like it had been fried, and his face was frighteningly hot. I really have the worst luck in 8 lifetimes. How many students does the world's #1 training camp recruit in the whole world? In the Jiangnan Bay City, there would only be one every few years. I actually ran into him just like that, and I even threatened him. If Wang Xingping, was the head of the Wang clan, he might have the right to threaten the other party. However, the person in charge of the Wang clan was his grandfather. His grandfather had several sons and more than 10 grandsons. Although he was the eldest young master of the direct line of descent, his status was slightly higher than the other grandsons. However, the selection of the future leader of a large clan was definitely not based on age alone. The internal competition was very intense, and the clan would then decide on the first successor, the second successor, and so on. His grandfather abdicated and his father's generation took over. Their fathers had been in power for decades before it was their grandchildren's turn. Not to mention that Wang Xingping had not become the clan leader. Even if he had become one, he would have to endure for another few decades. The amount of power I can use is only a tiny portion of the clan's power. Wang Xingping clenched his teeth. If the family knows that I actually fought with a student from the world's best training camp, I'm afraid the first thing he'll do is send me to apologize and arrange for people to negotiate with LuoFeng, turning a big problem into a small one and a small one into nothing. Wang Xingping was very clear about the rules of the big clans. Since he couldn't kill his opponent, he had to turn his enemy into his friend. And LuoFeng is about to enter the dojo of Limits World Headquarters. In there, even the 5 great countries wouldn't dare to send people over. That was because it was the territory of the strongest person in the world, Hong. Hong's name was much more threatening than a nuclear bomb. Hey Brother Wang, what are you thinking about? Ya Xia urged with a smile. Wang Xingping took a deep breath and looked at LuoFeng, after which he lowered his head and bowed. LuoFeng, this time I, Wang Xingping, was in the wrong, please don't take it to heart. Did he apologize? This Wang Xingping actually bowed and apologized. What is going on? Ya Xia stared blankly at Wang Xingping, then at LuoFeng. Even if he was blind, he could tell that something was wrong. LuoFeng looked at Ya Xia and laughed. Nothing, just a little misunderstanding with this young master Wang Xingping. Guys, I still have something to do, so I'll be leaving first. After saying that, LuoFeng turned his head and walked along the shaded concrete path. After LuoFeng left, Ya Xia said quietly, Brother Wang, what happened? Did you offend LuoFeng? I've really lost face this time. Wang Xingping straightened his body. However, Ya Xia, I have to thank you for this. If you didn't tell me about this LuoFeng's identity, I probably would have offended him without even knowing it. Right now, LuoFeng doesn't have the ability to take revenge. However, in a few years, once LuoFeng becomes a war god and becomes one of the upper echelons of the Dojo of Limits, it was easy for him to deal with a scion of the Wang clan. Compared to the Dojo of Limits, let alone the Wang family, even the entire HR alliance would have to lower their heads. Bastard, bastard, bastard. As soon as he returned to the hotel, Wang Xingping violently smashed all the bottles of good wine on the wine cabinet beside him. The expensive bottles of good wine were either smashed on the wall or on the ground. There was a shattering sound. Butler Uncle N, who was standing in the corner of the room, did not say a word. After venting his anger, Wang Xingping suddenly lay down on the sofa. Uncle N, bring a pair of twin sisters over. Wang Xingping's eyes were cold like a wolf. Every time he meets some trouble, Wang Xingping wants to vent. Young master, Butler Uncle N couldn't help but to say. Don't worry, no one will die. Wang Xingping turned his head and coldly looked at Butler Uncle N. Under Wang Xingping's gaze, this butler didn't dare to say anything else. Yes, Butler Uncle N turned his head and left the room. LuoFeng only treated the last time he met Wang Xingping as a joke and forgot about it. In the next few days, LuoFeng spent most of his time on the 9-stage Thunderblade. Time flowed like water and quietly passed by. In the blink of an eye, it was already March 28th, the day LuoFeng leaves the headquarters city. March 28th, 1:30 p.m., Jiangnan Headquarters City Airport. Feng, when you get there, take care of yourself, said Luo Hongwa seriously. Got it, Dad. LuoFeng slightly smiled. Gong Xinlan's eyes were filled with tears as she pulled LuoFeng's hand. Feng, take care of yourself. Actually, every time LuoFeng enters the wilderness, his family is always a bit worried. However, after a while, especially after living in a fighter sector like Mingyue sector, his parents understood. This is the path of a fighter. LuoFeng, time to check in. War God Yang Hui's voice carried from afar. Coming, responded LuoFeng. LuoFeng rubbed his brother's head and stared at his brother Luo Hua. Luo Hua, when I'm not home, you have to help me take care of mom and dad. Okay, Luo Hua nodded seriously. After that, Luo Feng looked at his parents and immediately ran towards the security checkpoint. Not far away, Ya Xia also said goodbye to his parents. After that, Luo Feng, Ya Xia, and Wargod Yang Hui passed through the security checkpoint. Under the watch of the Dojo of Limits chairman, Ya Xia's family and Luo Feng's family, they quickly left through the tunnel. There was only one gigantic disc-shaped plane in the entire airport. Luo Feng and the others followed the tunnel and directly entered the plane. Mr. Yang, your seat is the top-level first-class cabin, smiled the beautiful flight attendant. Yes. Yang Hui nodded slightly and walked up the stairs to the top. This was Luo Feng and Ya Xia's first time sitting on such a large passenger plane, so they were both very curious. Luo Feng was the same as most people who sat on this plane for the first time, so he watched curiously. The interior of the plane looked dreamy. Because the plane was a flying saucer, the interior cabin was divided into the top, middle and bottom floors. The top floor was a first-class cabin. The middle and bottom decks were both normal cabins. Round? The moment Luo Feng stepped into the top floor cabin, he realized that the entire cabin's walls were round. All the seats were arranged according to a ring, one ring after another. Naturally, the outermost ring had the most seats. At the center of the room, a 3D holographic projection appeared. E21. This was Luo Feng's seat. Ya Xia and Yang Hui sat side by side. The other passengers also took their seats. Luo Feng, Ya Xia, this is your first time taking a plane, so the Dojo of Limits will take care of your expenses. Said Yang Hui, if you take a plane next time you'll have to pay for the plane tickets. China's large passenger planes from the 6 headquarter cities to our headquarters cost 10 million Chinese dollars per ticket for the normal cabins, and 20 million for the first-class cabins. Luo Feng sighed to himself. No wonder most rich people don't want to fly. It's already pretty good for some rich people who have over 100 million in assets. Spending 10 million on a plane? They probably wouldn't. How is this first-class cabin better than the normal cabins below? Ya Xia couldn't help but to ask. The width of the seats and how comfortable they are, laughed Yang Hui. I don't feel like the seats are that wide. Ya Xia couldn't help but to be curious. That's because you haven't tried how crowded the normal cabins are. Laughed Yang Hui, you have to know that there are very few large passenger planes in the entire world. The cost to build and maintain each one is ridiculously high. Because there are so few of them, we naturally have to arrange as many seats as possible. So even though you can sit in the normal cabins, you won't be able to stretch your legs. Ya Xia blinked a few times. Luo Feng shook his head. Just because the seats are a bit more spacious, the price of the tickets is double. However, for the truly high-level people on Earth, 10 million and 20 million really don't make much of a difference. Rumble. With a low sound, the passenger plane finally took off. However, this round cabin was completely sealed and didn't have any windows, so Luo Feng and the others couldn't see outside. In the spacious center of the cabin, a movie that had just been released and was quite famous was being shown. With the 3D holographic projection, the movie felt extremely realistic. If you want to watch the movie, then put on your headphones. If you don't want to watch, then rest. We'll arrive at the headquarters in around an hour. Yang Hui closed his eyes. After around an hour and 20 minutes, the passenger plane landed at the Dojo of Limits World Headquarters, Hongning Headquarter City's airport. After Luo Feng and the others left the airport, they directly took a private car. Inside the extended Cadillac, Luo Feng and Ya Xia looked outside through the window and were extremely shocked. The entire headquarter city was extremely beautiful. The architecture was completely copied from China's ancient architecture. Pavilions could be seen everywhere. During the Grand Nirvana period, the head brought a group of followers and built a simple human base on this piece of land, allowing many refugees to live here. As time passed, this Hongning headquarter city grew bigger and bigger. Smiled Yang Hui, our Hongning headquarter city is located in the western part of Asia, quite close to Europe. Because of the head, Hongning headquarter city is the safest headquarter city in the entire world. Every year, many rich people and fighters join our headquarter city. However, the head always controls the headquarter city's population. Right now, the entire headquarter city's population is only around 80 million, smiled Yang Hui. If it weren't for the head's control, it would be normal for the population to reach 200 to 300 million. However, the quality of the population is important. Our Hongning headquarter city has the highest ratio of fighters in the entire world. Up until now, not a single emperor-level monster has dared to disturb our Hongning headquarter city. Yang Hui was extremely confident. Luo Feng and Ya Xia's eyes were filled with shock. There are a total of 5 great countries and 23 headquarter cities. Among them, Hong controls 1 headquarter city. Along with the astonishing power of the Dojo of Limits that he controls, the most important thing is his invincible strength. Hong is the undisputed number 1 person on Earth. Number 1 in power, number 1 in authority. We've arrived at the training camp, let's get off, said Yang Hui. This is the elite training camp. Ya Xia, come in and take a look. Work hard too, maybe you'll have the chance to join us in the future. Okay, Ya Xia couldn't hide his excitement. Luo Feng and Ya Xia got off the car and entered the wide training camp gate with Yang Hui. Once they entered, they saw a gigantic dragon sculpture. A gigantic black dragon that was around 50 meters tall stared at Luo Feng with its gigantic eyes. The endless dark energy instantly pressured over, causing Luo Feng to suffocate. On the side, Ya Xia's face was also pale. Only after Yang Hui lightly yelled did Luo Feng and Ya Xia wake up. It's just a sculpture and you're scared? Laughed Yang Hui. However, Luo Feng's forehead was filled with sweat. The pressure this dragon sculpture gave him was even more terrifying than that of the steel-armored dragon. On the black scales of this gigantic black dragon that was around 50 meters long, there were small displays. On each display was a name. Number 1 Renatus and Bridge, 530321. Number 2 Chu Chang, 540601. Number 3 Eben and Pass, 520916. Number 182 Jacqueline and Bernard, 570319. From top to bottom, there was a name on each scale, a total of 182 names. Yang Hui laughed on the side. This is the ranking. As of now, there are a total of 182 students in the elite training camp. They're all geniuses from all over the world. Based on their battle strength points, there will be a ranking. LuoFeng, if you pass the B-grade exam, work hard in the future and try your best to get a higher ranking. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.